Hello and welcome back to the USA Dynasty. Today in games 9 and 10 we will be seeing the Southern Miss Golden Eagles and the Old Dominion Monarchs. Now the Eagles are trying to right the ship in what should have been a much more successful Sun Belt season thus far. They are 4-4 on the year and 2-2, the ultimate mediocre team, and they definitely should be better. Old Dominion also has some decent talent on its roster, but I expect that game to be a bit more of an easy one. This seems like a get-right game against us and a top 20 team coming into your stadium with a Heisman Trophy candidate. Yeah, Southern Miss is going to play their lights out here, I think. Duke Watson, can he maintain his momentum? We come out in a double stacks look, and it's a screen pass to Jalen Mbakwe to start this game. Now, the number to watch out for on USM, number 90, nose tackle Marcus Samuel. He is an all-conference caliber player. And they force a 3-and-out on the first drive of the game. So out comes Jalen Carter and the Southern Miss offense. Carter definitely one of the better players on this roster, but it's all about number 2, Tyshawn Chapman. You can see him sealing the block out there on Deuce Vance. He does it all for this Southern Miss offense. Now the handoff to Carter, sweeping left, and he loses a yard. If anything, it'll be 3rd down and 8. Southern Miss does like to run a lot of up-tempo play as he's sacked. That is Emmanuel Waller off the edge, and the Jaguars will get off the field on defense. Back on offense, it's a pitch out. Look at the blocking outside, and sprung free. Duke Watson breaking a tackle. He's down to the 16-yard line, already up to 43 yards on just 2 runs. 1st and 10 at the 16. We bring in Kenyon Clay. He likes to run between and off tackle more than the sweeps. And he gets a pretty good gain on 1st down. Now 2nd and 4. Handoff, Duke Watson. Look at the burst of speed out of the backfield. He gets the handoff, and he's already almost running at top speed. So a quick strike from the Jaguars, and they take the lead. Now Southern Miss back on offense. Nice tackle outside. And it'll be Nehemiah Chandler with that tackle. 3rd and 6. Cameron Brown downfield, and this one's broken up. Really good coverage by Wesley Miller as Olololai is hurt on the play. So Jaguars get good field position, and they're going to start off with a quick bubble screen. Godfrey getting about 10 yards. Now 2nd down and 10. Dropping back, throwing this one out. Again, Jake Godfrey. He's been our #1 target this season. I don't see that slowing down. 4th and inches. Handoff up the middle for Duke Watson, and they're not expecting that. You can see how much the middle of the field parted. That's what setting up those outside runs can do for you. Now the play fake, throwing this one. Jalen Mbakwe catches it and then speeds around his defender and scores. So far, Jalen Mbakwe being back has been so helpful for this offense. Back on defense once again. Nice pass. This one caught by Chris Durr Jr. to the 31. Cameron Brown definitely more of a runner. We need to keep that in mind, and he's going to throw this one out. That's caught. Again, Durr Jr. outside. Some soft zones so far. And now they have duos right, I suppose, as this one's thrown down the field, and guess who it is? That's Chris Durr Jr. once again. 2nd and 10 at the 28, and it's a RPO handoff. And that'll be a big game by Ty Boot, the backup running back. Now 3rd and 4. Cameron, a lot of time in the pocket. And he tries to get this to Tyshawn Chapman, but he'll be hit as he goes to throw. Southern Miss will finally get on the board with 3. So back on offense, this throw underneath to Corey Milliner will pick up 5 yards. Now 3rd and 4, and we go pitch out of unbalanced eye. Duke Watson with 1 man to beat downfield, and he races him to the edge to get out of bounds. 79 yards on the game for Duke so far. 1st and 10, Ryan Rivers airing this one out. Jalen Mbakwe with the catch, and he'll step out at the 25-yard line. Mbakwe has been phenomenal coming back to this offense. 2nd and 10, throwing this one out, and that is caught. That's Jarian Graham outside. Now 3rd and 2. And the pitch out to Duke Watson gets to the edge and steps out of bounds. He'll just try to preserve his body a little more down the stretch of this season. Rivers now hitting Jake Godfrey in the butt. Didn't give him enough time to turn around for it. And on 3rd and 8, going right back to him, Godfrey turns upfield and has the sticks. So 1st down, and we're over 100 yards passing on the game. Now a pitch to Kenyon Clay. The edge is sealed, and Clay, not the speedster, but he gets to the edge. Touchdown. And the Jaguars are starting to put it on the Eagles on the road. So 21-3. This throw is jarred loose. And now it's 3rd and 9. Cameron Brown throwing this one. That is caught. That's Davis Dalton to the 35. So 1st and 10 for the Eagles. As you can hear their screech from their PA. Now throwing this one out. That one's caught. And Cameron Brown starting to sling the ball around a little bit. Definitely need the pass rush to get there faster. This handoff up the middle for Jalen Carter will be about 5 yards. And we'll get to midfield, 1st and 10. Brown, play fake. Nothing open downfield. He finally sees Tyshawn Chapman break open. There's only so much you can do on him. You need the defense to get to the quarterback because otherwise the coverage is for naught. Now throwing this outside, Chris Durr Jr. will have a new set of downs to the 24-yard line. 1st and 10, handoff. Carter up the middle. Carter does not have the speed to put this one to the house, but he'll get down to the 3. 1st and goal, handoff, tie boot into the end zone, and the Eagles will score. The Golden Eagles finally get on the board with a touchdown. 21-10. We're going right back to Mbakwe. This one outside, inside the 30, down to the 34-yard line, as he has just been phenomenal. How about another pitch, Duke Watson? Nothing in front of him except, well, yeah, Ricky Childers could not get the block in the 2nd level. So instead, it's only a 15-yard gain. Now Rivers, one-on-one, Mbakwe to the end zone, and it's broken up. And Ryan Rivers shaken up on the play. That means Jared Hollins, number 7, will come in and hand it off to Duke Watson. How good can you hand the ball off? Because that's really what we need to know right now. Hollins rolling out right. We put the ball in his hands on 3rd and 2. And a nice throw to Jalen Mbakwe. So 3rd and 2, we don't go Duke Watson. 1st and 10, going right back to Mbakwe, and he'll step out of bounds after a 7-yard gain. Inside the 20 now. 2nd and 3, and then Duke Watson hitting the Jets. He's into the end zone. He comes out of the backfield with so much momentum. I don't think I've ever seen a running back gather a handoff and be at top speed already. 1st and 10 for the Eagles, and that's a sack. Up the middle, R.J. Moss Jr. And the Jaguars trying to get off the field. 2nd and 16. That's a sack. Again, Ansel Dinamba and R.J. Moss Jr. combined for a half sack. Now 3rd and 21. And that's not a sack, but Ansel Dinamba almost gets him again. So Jaguars, another chance to score. Kenyon Clay will get a 5-yard carry. Now 3rd and 1. Going right back to Clay up the middle. And it's going to be 4th and inches, so he is short. Offense stays on the field. And it's a handoff up the middle for Duke Watson this time. And he easily has the 1st down and then some. Inside the 2-minute warning now. Handoff. Watson cutting it back up. Watson, if he could have bounced that one off his blockers, might have had 6. 3rd and 4. Now throwing this one into the flats. Godfrey, he's in. Another score for the Jaguars. They've hung 35 on the Golden Eagles in this first half. And the Eagles just don't have a response. So they're going to have to score here to stay in this game. It's a 25-point deficit potentially at half. And how about this? Tyshawn Chapman down the field. 20-10 touchdown. Beating Deuce Vance one-on-one on the outside. That's called finding your best player and just letting him do something. You got to get him involved. And they quickly, at least somewhat, get this game closer. Now back on offense. Throwing this one downfield. Almost caught by Godfrey. It's broken up. But a penalty marker as there was some handsiness. That'll be PI. 2nd and 10 with 45 seconds left. Airing this one out for Corey Milner. And I'm not sure Milner was on the same page. Looking inside where that was a back shoulder fade. Now Rivers dropping back on 3rd and 10. Throwing this one one-on-one. Jenkins. And it's broken up. It'll be 4th and 10. Eagles get the ball back. And can they do something again? Well, how about airing it out one-on-one again? And he's got Chapman. Now, no timeouts. They'll have to just go for the field goal here, and they will get the field goal up and good. But Tyshawn Chapman just scored 10 points in probably 5 combined seconds of actual gameplay for the Eagles. What was a 25-point lead is now a 15-point lead, and the Eagles will get the ball to start the second half. It's been a pretty good offensive showing for the Jaguars, but those numbers are going to be skewed for the Eagles after those 2 catches. Now, we would stop them on their first drive, so here's the Jaguars' first drive of the second half. Definitely want to get our foot back on the pedal. 2nd down and 3. This one over the middle. Jake Godfrey wide open. Godfrey spins inside to get another 4 yards or so. He's down to the 38-yard line. 1st and 10. 8 minutes left in the third. It's a pitch out. Watson cannot get to the edge. He does, but he's only going to get 7 yards. When we're talking about Duke Watson, we do talk about only when it comes to 7-yard gains. Now, Kenyon Clay's going to have a nice 10-yarder himself. Running that in between the tackles. Now 2nd down and 6. Rivers dropping back. Has Godfrey breaking open. Or rather, that's Milliner, and he finds him down to the 16. We really don't see enough of Corey Milliner, and that's just how good Mbakwe and Godfrey are because he's fantastic. Now the handoff outside. Duke Watson, and look at the speed. If you don't catch him in the backfield on some of these RPOs, he's gone, and he scores again. Let's just say that Heisman campaign is not slowing down in this one. 2nd and 10 for the Eagles on offense, and this throw out to Jalen Carter will net them about 14. Over 250 on the game for Cameron Brown. We make every quarterback look like a superstar, it feels like. Now he's down almost to midfield. It's 1st and 10. This screen out to Durr Jr., and he's brought down hard. That's Taiwan Ray Jr. with the hit. Now 3rd and 6. Cameron Brown getting this one to Durr Jr. for a 1st down at midfield. 1st and 10, handoff, Jalen Carter bouncing this outside, and he'll lose a yard. 2nd down and 11. Brown sacked. R.J. Moss up the middle. And between him and Dinenba, it has just been an interior pass rush insanity. 10 sacks on the year for R.J. Moss. 3rd and 18. And getting this one out, that'll be about a 5-yard gain, but well short of the 1st down. Chantrell Lewis shaken up on the play. So 1st and 10, pitch out on 1st down. Duke Watson gets to the edge. Watson gets a block. Watson hits the Jets, and he will be gone. It's going to be a 94-yard touchdown run. He's slowing this one down, but he walks it into the end zone. And now he's hitting the gritty. How about Ricky Childers' block downfield, the fullback? Really making an impact for us. Back on offense. Breaking off one tackle, but Jalen Carter will lose more in the process. 6-yard loss. 2nd and 16, last play potentially of the quarter, and he'll gain it all back on the next one. A 15-yard gain, and we'll go to the 4th. So a 29-point lead. 2nd down and 5. Ty Boot up the middle. Has a 1st down past the 40-yard line. Now 10 minutes left. This throw outside, and Cameron Brown is not in the game, I notice. Looks like Cameron Brown might have gotten hurt, so the backup quarterback comes in. Ty Boot outside now, and that is a 1st down. Now dropping back, throwing this one out, and that's caught. That'll be a 1st down, and I'm actually wondering, did Southern Miss just sub in all their backups? Are we seeing the backups in the game right now? This handoff going nowhere. That's a 4th down, and they will go for it. 4th and 10. Drop back, throwing this one up. One-on-one. Broken up, almost intercepted. Wesley Miller. I think Southern Miss called off the dogs. So 1st and 10. Corey Milliner. We're keeping our starters in. Probably not the best idea, but I wanted to see one more drive from them. I'm not sure why. 3rd and 11. Throwing this one out. Caught Corey Milliner on the comeback. We're inside 4 minutes now. Nearing 3. Screen pass out. Corey Milliner. We're just going to keep finding him, and the ball's on the ground. So that was a little scary. 1st and 10. Throwing out in the flats. Jake Godfrey. Godfrey will just go out of bounds with this one. And this is why we should have subbed out our starters. Duke Watson hurt on the play. Throwing this one underneath Corey Milliner, and he'll walk into the end zone. That's over 50 on the game. And that better be the last I see of the starters, as the Jaguars will go ahead and kneel this game out and win a big one on the road. We'll drop Southern Miss under 500, 56-20, your final score. 0 points in the second half, a shutout. Outside of those 2 Tyshawn Chapman bombs, they really only had 6 points of offense. A phenomenal game of defense, I would say. Some of our deep zone could use some work, but Duke Watson, electric player. Ricky Childers, really good downfield blocking. I was really impressed with him. I'm glad we went out and got a fullback. It was something that I wasn't sure about. Maybe run a tight end. No, we need a fullback. And the offense was just so good. I mean, even throwing the ball. Ryan Rivers, 28 for 38, 3 touchdowns, 250 yards. Duke Watson, 264 with 4 touchdowns. Kenyon Clay wasn't bad. We just don't see him much. Mbakwe, 94 yards a touchdown. Godfrey, 87 a touchdown. And Milner, 72 and a touchdown. That's exactly what I want to see if we're around 250 yards. I want to see those guys each getting 70 plus. 2.5 sacks for RJ Moss and 1 for Waller, half for Ansel Dinamba. As Duke Watson has already set the South Alabama single season rushing yard record, he broke Kentrell Bullock's record in 9 games. And the rushing touchdowns record. This is unheard of. The Jaguars seeing more Sunbelt single season rushing touchdowns record. We're only 9 games through the season. What is going on? Markel Vincent, the 4-star edge rusher from Macon, Mississippi, commits. How about this recruiting class for Atari Mason? Culture is shifting here as Alfonso Willingham unfortunately commits to Louisiana. But still, a huge win in our first game of this episode. Duke Watson winning Sunbelt Player of the Week. That is well deserved for him. And how about National Player of the Week? You knew this one was coming. 264 yards, that'll get it done. 14 a carry, just insane. And now we head on to the East Coast to take on the Old Dominion Monarchs. We're here in Virginia. I can't remember which city in Virginia Old Dominion's in. I'll have to look that up. I'm a little disappointed in myself. But the Old Dominion Monarchs, definitely not a great team. On paper, they're a lot worse than their record shows. So they've been playing well above their level. Definitely somebody we don't want to overlook, but on paper, their team is terrible. They have a lot of 60 overall starting, a lot of low 70s. It's definitely a game that we're expected to win. 1st and 10, start of the drive, Ryan Rivers out to Corey Milner. That'll be a 4-yard gain. Now 3rd and 3, pitch out Duke Watson, and he spins around. He actually got to the edge, but then he spun, and he will not get it. That's a 3 and out. Quick defensive job for Old Dominion, and out comes their offense, led by quarterback. And I'm going to try my best to say this one. Maye Liaki. Mailaki? It's really bad. I'm so sorry for how I'm pronouncing that. I'm very, very bad with what I assume is a Hawaiian name. This handoff up the middle for Kendrick Raphael will gain about 6 yards. Now 3rd and 4. And Smith, we'll call him, is hit down by RJ Moss. That is a sack. So Jaguars will get off the field quickly themselves. Now they hand off to Duke Watson. He cuts it back upfield as the outside really was going nowhere. That's a 4-yard gain. 3rd and 8, Ryan Rivers dropping back. Throws this one out, and he's got Jake Godfrey outside. Running just an outbreaker route there. Nobody in that zone. 1st and 10, handoff up the middle. Duke Watson, he actually bounces this one outside. He's got one man to beat, and he will instead just take to the sidelines. We're really trying to have Watson avoid contact as much as possible. And then Ryan Rivers on the RPO peak slant throws the interception. I haven't done one of those since my Madden 21 days with the Flyers. The Hollister MacIntyre series. Well, Old Dominion back on offense now. How about this throw inside? And that is caught. Titus Myers. Now the handoff. And that's going to be a pretty big gain for Kendrick Raphael. We can't bring him down. It'll be a 6-yarder after he did move back a little bit. Now 2nd down and 4. And Jalen Butler in motion. It's a handoff again. Kendrick Raphael just running all over us. That's a huge gain, and he's up to 42 yards rushing already. 1st and 10 for Smith. Out into the flats. Caught. A tackle broken, and Titus Myers will score. Monarchs go up first in this game. And now the Jaguars are playing with a back foot. Ryan Rivers over the middle. This one's caught. That was a really dangerous throw. Mbakwe, great adjustment, and then just leading him upfield. 1st and 10. Rivers dropping back. Throwing this one out. Dangerous throw. Caught! Through the hands somehow of the defensive back. And Jalen Mbakwe comes down with it. Now Clay on a 9-yard run. It'll be 3rd down and 1. Power I. It's a pitch out. Watson's got some blocks. Watson, one man to beat. Cuts inside. Hits the Jets, but brought down from behind. So on defense, the number to watch out for in this game is linebacker number 92, Miles Williams. We'll try to avoid him. You can see him with the star underneath him. And we'll throw it underneath here to Jalen Mbakwe, who gets down to the 6. That'll be first down and goal. We're going to generally try to run away from their linebacker, though, as Watson will go ahead and even this game up untouched into the end zone off the RPO. See, we don't just run the toss. We run a lot up between the tackles as well. First and 10 for Smith. Throwing this one out. That is caught. Titus Myers on the outside. Now first and 10 at the 46. Handoff and brought down for a 3-yard loss. So the defense doing their job there. Third and 6 now. And it's a handoff again. And look at the move from Kendrick Raphael. He will be short by 2. But nearly got a first down. They'll go for it. 4th and 2. Keeper QB has the first down. Smith will gain about 7 yards. First and 10 at the 37. Smith dropping back. Throwing this one, and a huge gain through the air. Touchdown, Jalen Butler, the tight end. And he certainly looked like a wide receiver out there. Old Dominion taking another 7-point lead. They're trying to get bowl eligible. Throw into the flats. Jake Godfrey, 7-yard gain. 3rd and 4. Rivers drop back. Throwing this one over the middle. Caught Trent Thomas. That'll be first and 10 now. At the 36, Rivers drop back again. Had Watson one-on-one, but didn't elect to go for it. Throws this one downfield. And Godfrey can't catch up to it. It's overthrown. 3rd and 10 now. Pitch out Watson. One man to beat. Uses Childers' block, but then doesn't bounce it back outside. He has not been the best at following his blockers in this game. Kenyon Clay up the middle, however. Look at the power running. I definitely want to replace Clay in the offseason as he'll graduate with another power runner. We could use one. This throw then intercepted. Rivers throwing it to Godfrey and didn't see the DB in the flat there. And he drops back Crutchfield with a nice interception. 2nd and 7, and it's a 5-yard loss. Good job, RJ Moss. Now 3rd and 12. Smith throwing this one downfield, and it's broken up. Good coverage for Deuce Vance. 1st and 10, it's a handoff off tackle. Watson bouncing it outside and losing 6 in the process. And he has been bottled up this game. So we get him another toss outside, and this time he's got the edge at the 51 man to beat, and you're not going to catch him with that angle. 20, 10, Heisman candidate Duke Watson to the end zone, and he will score. Watson tying this game up once again. So 1st and 10, and Kendrick Raphael losing a yard. Wesley Miller shaken up on the play. 3rd and 7 now for Smith. Drop back. Has some time. Throws this up one-on-one. Deuce Vance, and it's broken up. Vance has been very good in coverage outside of Tyshawn Chapman. That one's a hard assignment. Now the pitch out for Kenyon Clay, and look at the blocking he's got. No speed, but it doesn't matter. Huge gain. 1st and 10. Rivers dropping back. Throwing this one. Rod Gibbs caught it. And Gibbs fighting his way down to the 43. So it'll be 3rd down and 4. Toss play. Watson to the edge, and he's got the first down. Barely gets it. We will see some timeouts being taken. 30 seconds left. Rivers. Nothing open. Dangerous throw, but it's broken up for Milliner. Now comes the field goal unit. No, it's a toss play. Duke Watson, 4th down. He's got it. He's got the edge. Watson hits the Jets again. He's gone. Old Dominion outside of their 2nd level linebacker. Very bad. Their corners are weak and their edges can't really set. So 1st and 10 for Old Dominion. This throw broken up. We're definitely going to keep running outside today unless they can stop it. 3rd and 10 should be last play of the half. Smith airing it out. He's got a man one-on-one. He's free. Sydney Mbanasaur to the end zone. So Old Dominion evens this game up back at halftime. And the Jaguars offense just being weighed down by their defense in this one. Now, the offense in between the tackles has not been great today. Outside, it's been better. We see Wesley Miller back in at defense. Kendrick Raphael with some hard running for a first down. 1st and 10 at the 25. Smith handoff. Raphael stood up in the backfield. Emmanuel Waller with the stop. So 2nd down and 12. Handoff. Outside. Raphael's got the edge. Raphael's got an 8-yard gain. 3rd down and 3. High snap caught by Smith. And he's got a man wide open, streaking over the middle of the field. Never saw him on the cross pattern. And he's sacked by Noble. So, Jaguars finally get a chance to go ahead in this game. Throw underneath Mbakwe. And he'll have an 11-yard gain. 100 yards, 2 interceptions for Ryan Rivers. Not a great stat line today, as he will be sacked. Just kind of drifting, dropping back, rolling out of the pocket, and he's sacked. Now 3rd and 16. Throwing this one up for Duke Watson. And I don't know if he could have caught that. Looked like it was in range. So, Old Dominion back on offense. A chance to go ahead once again. 2nd down and 4. This one's caught. Again, Jalen Butler. So 2nd down and 7 at the 44. Keeper for Smith. Smith outside. Smith breaking off a tackle. That was Nehemiah Chandler. And he has a 1st down. 2nd down and 11 at the 43. Drop back Smith. Underneath Jalen Butler. Again, he's upended by Wesley Miller. That's a 6-yard gain. 3rd and 4. Smith. Outside and caught. So 1st down, Sydney and Bonasaur. Now it's 3rd and 8 at the 27. Smith with 2 backs, throwing this one screen. And Kendrick will be short of a 1st down. It's 4th and 1. Offense stays out there. Why not? Smith to the end zone. Where is Nehemiah Chandler? Nowhere near VJ Wilkins, and the Monarchs take another touchdown lead. Pitch out to Duke Watson. Watson will get about 7 yards. He did have downfield sealed by Ricky Childers. Just couldn't get this one outside fast enough. Now the flats for Jake Godfrey, and he picks up 5 yards for a 1st down. 2nd and 10 at the 32. Rivers over the middle, caught Mbakwe. And he's got a 1st and 10. 1st and 10 for Rivers. Underneath has Jake Godfrey, and he'll have a 1st down. Down to the 42. 1st and 10 at the 42. And Rivers through the air finds Corey Milner at the 20. Cutting inside to the 12. And the Jaguars offense is starting to hum. It's really a question of the defense. Pitch out. Watson. Plenty of blocking up the middle, and he will score. Watson, another touchdown on the game. And the Heisman candidate certainly distancing himself, I would have to think, at this point. Smith with the keeper. Smith breaking another tackle broken down to the 35. And Maya Leaki Smith is having himself a game. Now a 3-yard loss, as Emmanuel Waller has been really good in the run game. 2nd and 13, Smith. Block is picked up outside, and Jalen Butler breaking several tackles before getting a 1st down and 20 yards. Now down to the 48. Smith handoff. No, it's a play fake. Throwing this one a little short, but Titus Myers comes up for it. It's an 8-yard gain. Now 3rd and 2. Speed option. Keeper Smith, and he's got the 1st down. Old Dominion just can't be stopped now. Might be the last play of the quarter. Handoff up the middle. Kendrick Raphael breaking a tackle inside the 10. The Monarchs will go no huddle. We will get one more play. It's a keeper up the middle. Smith with the score on the QB draw from 5 wide. Monarchs take another touchdown lead. We just can't stop them. It may be who has the ball last. Toss out for Duke Watson. He's got the edge, and he'll have a 15-yard gain to the 40-yard line. He's over 200 yards now at 220. 2nd and 5. We'll spell him with Kenyon Clay, and Clay with some hard running for a 7-yard gain. 1st and 10. Play fake. Drop back. Throwing this one. Come back to Mbakwe's got it. And he's down to the 33. So 1st and 10. 10 minutes left in this game. Rivers underneath Jake Godfrey's got it on the drag. He gets down to the 20, and that's where he will be stopped. 1st and 10. Rivers had a man open, but goes for Mbakwe instead. He was also wide open. Touchdown. Jalen Mbakwe has been such a mismatch outside. It's now 1st and 10 for the Monarchs back on offense. Tie game once again. Jalen Butler with the 1st down. He's been so hard to bring down. The tackling in this game has been really suspect, frankly. 3rd and 8 now. Smith stepping up in the pocket. Finds his man. Sydney and Bonasaur with the 1st down. Now 1st and 10 at the 47. Play fake. One-on-one downfield. Caught. BJ Wilkins outside. So first and 10 at the 18 now. Old Dominion throwing this one out into the flats. Caught. And Kendrick Raphael will be untouched into the end zone. Monarchs score once again. We just can't stop them. We literally cannot stop them. Back on offense, Duke Watson pitch out. Watson gets the edge. Watson! Nobody in front of him. 50, 40. He's gone. And we even this game right back up. Neither offense can be stopped. Neither defense is worth anything right now. Tie game. So second down and 8. Back on offense. And look at this. Another carry. This time Titus Myers with the carry. Out of the backfield, actually. First and 10. Now Kendrick Raphael taking this one outside. And he'll have another new set of downs. We're now inside 7 minutes. Third and 7 at the 46. Smith drop back. Has a man open. The rush just can't get there. It's VJ Wilkins once again. First and 10 at the 46. Hand off. Kendrick Raphael. Look at the running. Where is the defense? We're inside 5 minutes now. Second down and 11. Throw out. VJ Wilkins. No, actually, that's not him. He got subbed out for this play. So third and 1. Two backs. Hand off. No. And then it is a throw. Kanye Roberts untouched into the end zone. The backup running back. We haven't even seen him much this game, but he scores in a crucial time. Third and 13 with 4 minutes left. This is critical. Rivers rolling out. Nobody open. He'll take off and run with this one. And he'll gain 11 yards, but it's 4th and 2 now. Power I. Toss out. Duke Watson. Watson gets some blocks. Watson gets down to the 39. And you want to take time. You don't want to leave any time on the clock for sure. Milliner on the drag. And he'll get to about midfield. Second down and 2. Of course, if you don't score, now you have no time left. Duke Watson up the middle. He has the first down, and he's across midfield. Down to the 48. First and 10. Too wide left. And Rivers rolling out. Will have Godfrey. Finds him. Inside the 30, down to the 26-yard line as we approach the 2-minute warning. Handoff up the middle. Look at Watson running down inside the 15. And now we hit the 2-minute warning. First and 10. Handoff. Watson. Watson inside. And he'll get down to the 6. And we will definitely start wasting some time. First and goal from the 1. Toss play. Watson's got the edge. And we are 1 point away from tying this game with 30 seconds left. And Atari Mason is putting up 2 fingers. He wants this game over. 2-point conversion. Another toss play. Buck picked up. And he scores. And the Jaguars take the 1-point lead with 33 left. Now this might be enough time. Smith. Screen pass. And Myers will have a first down. They have the timeouts and they just need a field goal to win this game. Smith, 4 wide, throwing this one underneath. Myers again. Down to the 45. Another 10-15 might do it. Smith dropping back, throwing it over the middle. It's intercepted. Blaine Myrick, game over. And the Jaguars defense finally comes up and ices this game. They've done nothing all game. But they do enough here. Ryan Rivers takes the knee, and this one is done. The Jaguars win a shootout here in Virginia, 50-49. Where was the defense? Duke Watson, 340 yards, 6 touchdowns. This may be the game that ices his Heisman Trophy. Watson was unstoppable. Now in the first half, they actually contained him pretty well outside. I thought you started seeing the second quarter it break open because we ran up the middle a few times with him, with Kenyon Clay, and they had to start respecting that and loading the box again, and once they loaded the box again, we just started bouncing it outside. There really was no winning with their run defense. Of course, there was no winning with our defense either. Watson, phenomenal game. Clay with a really good game too. I thought he was pretty imperative for opening up Duke Watson. Jalen Mbakwe was phenomenal with 100 yards and a touchdown. And then about 130 between Milliner and Jake Godfrey. Defense, nothing to write home about, but Blaine Myrick, the senior, wins us that game at the end. Duke Watson has set the South Alabama single game rushing yards record. Not hard to believe after 340 yards. That would nearly claim the NCAA record, as he also is the South Alabama single game rushing touchdowns record at 6. Now, I believe the rushing title, or the national one, is 8, I think. So you need 9 to break it. Duke Watson sets the Sun Belt single game rushing yards record. And that's pretty believable too. I believe the record is it Joe Mixon over Kansas? I don't think it's Mixon. It's one of the Oklahoma running backs. Duke Watson sets the Sun Belt single game rushing yard, touchdowns record rather. I mean, just record breaking all across the field. How about some more? Sun Belt single season rushing yards record is broken for him. And we get another commit from free safety Clark Matlock from Saraland, Alabama. We're getting local kids. How about Loganville, Georgia, Will linebacker Bryce Ford, another 3-star. Duke Watson, your Sun Belt Player of the Week. And yeah, I think it's safe to assume he's going to be a National Player of the Week after that performance. Duke Watson. I think at this point, he might be able to sit out the rest of the season and win the Heisman. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I hope you'd enjoyed. If you did, leave a like. I will see you next time. Have a good one.